Hello everyone, Key of W here with more Gemcraft, Chasing Shadows. On the fifth video now, I believe, and a quick recap for those of you who aren't watching all of these together in one sitting, because you just aren't on that grind. We just finished up Hextile I. It was a dead end. Turns out we need the free skill tome to go any further, but that's okay because we got the poison skill in here, which is going to be very, very helpful to us because poison is the best gem in the early game. Early game, I want to just clarify that for those of you who've played the game long enough to know that it is not as good later on. So yeah, I have the poison skill, which gives poison gems more component power. This just means more poison damage. It doesn't increase the battle stats, just the special ability. So 24% higher. If you start, let's see, a grade 1 poison gem, I have my chart open, but I remember it's 8 poison damage over 9 seconds for a level 1 or a grade 1 gem. So adding 24% means that a grade 1 gem is going to do 10 poison damage, which doesn't seem all that impressive, but of course you compound that the more you upgrade your gems. And then of course in traps it's even higher because traps are now going to be 130% increase. It says 50% specials multiply here, but you have to add the 80% on top of it for just traps do 80% specials. So 130% added, so 230%, and then a 24% multiplier on top of that. So it's actually closer to like 280% on your poison gem power in a trap. So these two skills together go really, really well, and it's going to help us get to the next hex tile pretty easily. Speaking of skill points, we have 211. And I don't remember exactly what my strategy was for leaving myself at 211 instead of 200. I believe I wanted to stay above 200. So in this game, you're always balancing keeping a lot of initial mana and putting your points into skills. Every wizard level you have, of course, is 7 skill points, and then achievements give you more. There's some other ways to get skill points on the table. Those are the basic ways. And every unspent skill point gives you 7 initial mana. And then you have to add 360, because that's the base. So 1477 plus 360 plus... Do we have talismans that give me mana? Yes, 42 initial mana. So this means I'd start with about 1800. But I wanted to be at about 200 skill points because starting with about 1800 mana puts me at level 3 of the mana pool. Is that right? It's in my... I make charts of this because it's either this or get laid. So the mana pool level, I'm at level 10. So yeah, getting to level 3 would require 15, almost 1600 mana. So this would guarantee I start at level 3. And starting at level 3 means I have additional multipliers to XP and mana gain. So this is all why I do this. And starting at 1800 mana means I can create a bunch of gems and towers and traps at the start of a level. If I spend all my skill points, sure, these abilities will be really good, but I'll start every level with so little mana I can't actually make the gems, towers, and traps I need, so I'll start every level really weak. I don't want to do that. Whereas if I don't spend anything as skill points, I'd start with a lot of mana, but once the level gets going, I'll be too weak to really get any further. So it's the balancing act. And actually, I want to stay at 200. I'm going to say 200 is where we're going to be. That's a nice even 200. Give myself a little more power in traps. So yeah, I'll start with 1800 mana. And I think what I want to do from here on out, I do want to increase the amount of skill points here, but I don't need to hoard them quite as much because I'm doing good on mana. So what I'll do, after every level, I'll probably level up a couple times. I'll come back here, put some points into skills, and just make sure that whatever I end up with is higher than what I started with before the level, right? So what I'm starting this next level coming up at 200. Whatever I do in that level, when I'm done, I want to make sure I have over 200. So I will slowly gain more. To get to level 4 of the mana pool, I would need to start with at least 2,368. Sorry, I had to refer to my chart, which we're not really close to at this point, but that is achievable if I get 50 to 100 more skill points. Also, if I put more points into here, because if I get to level 12 of Mana Stream, then I only need 2,260. So I bet by the end of this video, I can start every level at Mana Pool 4, which gives me a 9% multiplier to XP and a 12% multiplier to mana gain. You know, you care about this so much, I can tell. I'm going to just move on to the level here. And in field I1, notice there's 15 waves, whereas when we started field E1, there were 20 waves. Also a lower HP to start with. So Hextile I is actually a little easier than Hextile E. And with our poison / trap skill set, we're going to just blow right through this. So let's put our haste all the way to the top. Every time I reload the game, it resets all these traits, so we got to set them again. And I'll show you exactly how we're going to steamroll these guys. Gem bombs, great. We've done this before. So what I want to do first and foremost is set some traps. Now this level normally wouldn't give me the poison gem, it would just give me the critical hit yellow and the chain hit red, which are fine enough, but this is how we're going to just skate on by this level. But there's a particular combination of red and green which is interesting, so I want to go over that. So let's say I make a level 1 green gem. Just going to demonstrate, go in, way too much detail here. So 10 poison damage over 9 seconds because I've got some points into poison. And we make one of these. And I combine these two together, we get a dual gem. Now you notice that the poison damage is actually lower. So it says there with the dual gem modifier we get 20% more damage, but it's only 70% the specials power. But if you were to see a grade 2 poison gem, it should actually be doing about 17 poison damage. And so you see the 7 here is way less than 70%. So what's going on is because this gem is made up of a grade 1 green and a grade 1 red, we're getting the poison damage value of the grade 1 gem then down to 70%. So this normally would be a terrible way to do special abilities, making dual gems. It's great for adding damage, but not so much for the specials. However, in a trap, it's going to be much better. So we drop it in here, and suddenly it's 16 poison damage. Okay, 16 is still not that impressive. It's enough to kill this wave and this wave. Not this one so much. But also the combo of poison and chain hit is really good. So even if this poison trap did 160 damage, if enemies get over the trap without getting hit by the trap, it does no good at all. And it can only do about 1 shot per second, which is pretty good. But if I'm swarmed with enemies, it's only hitting one of them at a time. It will miss some enemies. But with the chain hit, every time it makes a hit, it's going to hit a bunch of them. So this is designed to make sure none of the enemies get past without getting hit by the trap, even though it's less damage per hit. Of course, I'm going to upgrade it one more time. So you see at level 3, 28 poison damage. That's enough to get through at least the 6 waves I can see on the table here. But I'm going to duplicate this, make a second one, because I've got the mana for it. I'm going to make sure enemies can't, cut through. They gotta walk the long way on these. Got to cut them through the longest possible path on the traps. So these two together, 56 poison damage. Again, I don't need the 56 because of the high HP here. It's more like if an enemy happens to get through here without getting hit, then they probably will get hit by this one. And so my plan for this level is to make a few of these traps. And then further down the line, I might make pure poison traps because the big clumps of enemies that are going to bunch up from these two paths are probably going to be cleaned out mostly by these two, maybe a third or fourth trap. And so any future traps are just going to take care of stragglers, in which case I don't need it to be a chain hit. But I do want to make a backup gem just in case. My goal is that this gem does no damage at all. I'm going to put these two together, put it in here. In this case, I'm making a dual gem just for the extra damage. Don't care so much about the special. Just in case enemies get through and I don't have gem bomb on me to get rid of them, this gem will make sure nobody gets to the orb, so I get the most possible XP. Why do I already have 7? Oh, right. I think there's a talisman piece that does it. No, I know there's talisman pieces that give you XP to start, but I don't know if I'm using any of those. I'll have to double check. Let me use some of my remaining mana here to enrage these waves. There you go. I'm going to try to just enrage all the waves. It's more XP for me. It's still a low enough hit point count that these two traps will take care of them. I'm not as worried about armor because the poison damage doesn't concern itself with armor, so this armor level can go as high as I like. It's just the HP value you got to watch out for. But 4 extra monsters and the XP gain per... Oh, geez, XP gain's pretty high. 9.9 XP. I like that. I think that's including this 3.1 times multiplier there. Okay, let's just get started. I've gone on too long just chatting. Just throw this in. So you see, right now they're only crossing one at a time, which isn't too big a deal. But we're about to get a bunch up here, so it's good to see them. Oh, let's get some mana there. Yeah, it's good to see that we can hit multiple. We're not worried about the one at a time thing. I'm going to throw a third one of these down as soon as I get 514 mana to duplicate the trap. Duplicate. There we go. Let's make it a little bit of a struggle to get through. Drop a gem bomb grade 2. We got some abandoned dwellings. I should catch these eventually. So these 3 traps all together should be enough. Eventually I can upgrade these to grade 4, but I don't need to right now. Yeah, by this point maybe I'd want to, because that's more than 28 HP. Let's make a 4th. And that should be enough of the traps. Let's just run it for a bit. Get some mana. Okay, we're good on mana. I'm going to upgrade this one and this one. So now they each do 51 damage. So I'm good to upgrade these enemies. They're still going to be killed by the traps. This one is going to be close. This one's going to be really close. You see how he's... Yeah, there you go. He was going to recover, I thought. So I'm going to upgrade both of these. And now we should be good with all the traps. 51 damage. Okay, I think that's fine. And then a last resort, I'm going to make a pure poison gem. And I don't need it to be as high, because look, 42 damage for level 2. This is level 4, and it does 51. So actually, you know what? I'm going to do one more. 76 poison damage. None of the enemies should be getting through that. We can just kind of run it. We don't have to think about it too much. Let's enrage these waves. I'm going to enrage this one twice. You know, 3 times. There we go. Yeah, the concern now that I've enraged this 3 times is I have 62 monsters to deal with. So it isn't so much I can't kill them with the traps, but I might overwhelm the traps. So I just have to keep my eye on that. Let's start breaking these. A little bit of XP is good. This is a drop holder, shoot with bolts. We can't do that because we don't have whatever it takes to open that, so we'll just leave it alone for now. Okay, this is a little concerning. No, I think we're good. I was just worried that we'd have so many enemies that we'd get a clump through. And if a clump gets to here, then the trap can't possibly get them all. Let's do 3 times there. Yeah, 3 times on the swarmling waves, it's fine. Ooh, by this point they have really high HP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump this up to level 4. 138 poison damage. So anyone who gets hit with this trap is going down. No one survives that. But we should be good for the rest of the level. How are we on mana pool level 8? That's pretty good. So yeah, it's a pretty good XP multiplier and mana gain multiplier. I like that. That guy's gonna die. I think we're fine. Yeah, we're getting swarmed, so that's the concern. But I think, yeah, I've set this up right, so we don't have to worry about any... Yep, this guy, 0 hits, 0 kills. And we have 11,000 battle XP total. So let's see how much we can squeeze out of this. So the way this is gonna go is we're just gonna upgrade this gem as high as we can. We have a lot of mana to do it with, so we should be able to go... Okay, 5, not even touching it. 6, 7. We can go to level 8. That's pretty good. So we're going to see this at level 8. We could just run this and let us go until we die, but I'm going to try to upgrade this to level 9 if we get to about 20,000 mana. But we want to be careful on upgrading this gem, because if I upgrade it while there's a lot of enemies going past, I'm going to lose the 20,000 mana and enemies are going to reach the Orb of Presence, so I'll probably die instantly. I want to upgrade this. Ooh, a lot of noise happening. I want to upgrade this if there's not a lot of enemies going by, or if I have enough mana to tank the banishment cost. Those are the only reasons I would upgrade this to level 9. But it looks like it's going to be possible. Like, I'm getting pretty close to it. I'm handling the enemies just fine. We'll see. This is a pretty big group of enemies. Here. Oop, not enough mana because they all got through. Oh dear. There we go. Okay, barely made it. Level 9. And I don't think I'm going to get up to the required 40,000 mana to upgrade this one. But we've more than doubled our XP, which is all I need. And you may be thinking, why don't you upgrade these? Well, the thing about endurance mode is the enemies get strong so quickly, I would drain my mana way too fast in upgrading these traps. So I'm going to focus just on this. I'm not trying to actually clear endurance mode. I'm just trying to squeeze XP out. And this is the fastest way to do so without a headache. So at this point, the enemies are too strong. We're going to start losing, but we have almost 3 times the amount of XP we had when we finished the level proper. I think that's pretty good. Uh-huh. We'll take it. Only a couple level ups, but that's alright. Which means we have some more points. So I want to spend these points, but I still want to be above 200 when I'm done, because that's where I started the previous level. I do want the traps to go up, because that's the plan right now, is to use the traps. So we're going to do this, and then that's it. We're going to leave our skills here. And we're going to jump into this next level, which gives us the green and the purple gems. This one would have given us green anyway. So our strategy would have worked even without the poison skill, although the poison skill will make it easier. Let's block this little path here. I see the entrance. That's too quick. Let's make him go all the way around. And then here's another loop, and here's another loop. Let's just pick one to block. The enemies are going to come from both this monster nest and the entrances. And I'm not going to get rid of the monster nest immediately. So I want to make sure that my trap setup is all in here so that all the enemies hit them. If all my traps are back here, these enemies get a free shot to the orb. So we're going to start with the trap there. I'm just going to put a level 1 gem. That's only 24 poison damage, but these enemies start with 18 hit points. So that's fine. Let's make sure they have to walk the long way. Let's put another one, duplicate that. And another one here. And I am going to make a backup gem for this level as well, right there, just in case they get through. But again, the goal is 0 hits, 0 kills. It's possible this one will get a kill because of how close this trap is. Like if an enemy hits this trap, even if the trap would kill him, this gem's going to start firing before they die. But whatever. The idea is I don't want to rely on this gem. I want to be able to get rid of him with traps alone. I have more... Man, let me enrage some waves there. Let's throw in a trap here, duplicate. Another one here, duplicate. Let's throw in some of this. And I've got enough to upgrade this once, so we're going to have a level 2. This one is not necessary right now. They don't have enough HP, but it will be eventually, so it's nice to just get a head start on that. And let's go. We should be able to just run this for a bit. Okay, we have a bunch of mana now. I'm going to start... you know what? I'm going to do 6 times here to get this achievement. Only 10 hit points. Yeah, 95 swarmlings. We're going to have some trouble with that, but we just need more traps. So I'm going to do that. Just a lot of traps with dual 24. Eventually... Yeah, this is a really risky thing to do just because of how many swarmlings going to come through. We're also going to add a beacon. You see 1 beacon appears when the wave starts. That is because for every 5... I just destroyed the beacon with a gem bomb. For every 5 times you enrage a wave, you add a beacon. So I could get overwhelmed here, but hopefully not. I'm going to start upgrading these traps little by little. Yeah, so this gem's going to start attacking, but he doesn't need to because they're going to die from the poison. Let's upgrade that. Let's upgrade that. A bunch of level 2 traps is good. Let's enrage. You know, I can afford to enrage him a couple times. Because, yeah, 47 hit points, 43. Okay, well, you're going to have to hit a couple traps. Ooh, this one actually got through. There we go. Yeah, so I enraged these more times than I probably should have because they're getting through the traps. Let's just make sure everyone's at grade 2. If I see a grade 1, I'm going to upgrade them. Okay, they're all at 2. I'm also going to put a trap here. And that is not going to hit any enemies from the monster nest, of course, but it will thin out the crowds before they get to the monster nest so that this area isn't too crowded. That is the goal. We should be able to just run this for a bit. And then I'm just overdoing this just to get the XP, and then we'll start upgrading these traps to level 3. All right, 78 poison damage. That should take care of any of these monsters. Run this bit. Cool. Mana pool level 6. Let's make sure none of these sit at level 2. We're going to start to bump them all up to 3. This is probably overkill, but I'm having a good time, so let's just run that. Alright, we're starting to get waves down here where the trap, one trap might not be sufficient. I mean, it pretty much is fine. Oh, hold on, we have an abandoned dwelling over here. Let's take care of this. Goodbye. Boost charge, that doesn't matter. Oh wait, we do have a shrine here. Do I care about this shrine? What's it? It's going to be removing armor, right? So, yeah, shredding armor with hits. That's fine. Do I need to bump these to level 4? Yes. I'm enraging these twice because I feel like it. So we're going to go to level 4 here, there, and there. We have the mana for it. And the reason we have so much mana is we keep on enraging waves, so we get more monsters, meaning way more mana. Let's go to level 4 there, and there, and there. Anytime I see grade 3, it goes to 4. So, way too many traps, yes, but guarantee that monsters don't get through. Because, yeah, none of them have 140 HP. You know what? Let's do it. Ooh, marked swarmlings. Marked waves means they have special abilities. This one has extra HP regeneration. Who cares? Yeah, okay. We're going to bump this up to level 5 here, and this one, and that one. I don't know if I need to do all of them to level 5, but we'll see. Let's get rid of that beacon. Hold on. And that beacon. So we get some XP. Cool. Alright, let's see if this is too many monsters to take care of. Nope, I think we're good. I think we're fine. Look at that. And about 19,000 XP to start. Let's see if we can double that. That feels like a lot, but we'll try. So once again, we're just going to upgrade this as far as it goes. So it's level 8. If we get to 19,000 mana, then we'll upgrade it again. Let's actually drop a gem bomb here. Let's make the Orb of Presence a little better. Just we can survive a few more banishments. How much have we spent on banishment so far? 0. We're good. Alright. I could also do one of these. But this isn't super necessary because I'm not worried about armor at all anyway. Poison damage ignores armor, and this gem reduces armor on hit, so that's fine. Alright, let's upgrade. Alright, we're probably not going to get to 40,000 mana. That's just my guess, so this might be where we stop. We're just going to run this until we get all the XP we can. You know what? Let's also get some XP for destroying that. Ooh, yeah, we're basically going to hit 40k. That's cool. Actually, we're doing way more than 40k. Alright, we're gonna die soon. But we might get up to 50k. Nah, not quite. That's good enough, though. Another, finally, piece of the talisman. But I think we've only picked up corner fragments so far. How much achievement? 71? Oh, getting there. Talisman. Yeah, we only have corner fragments. This is so weird. Why is it only corner fragments? Also, damage to reavers is worthless. Okay, whatever. Let's check the skills out again. Now we're at 241, so I'm going to spend some, but I want to stay above... Oh, I forget the number, but it was a little over 200. So I'm going to put them into Mana Stream here, and then one into Masonry, and that's where we'll end. So we'll get... it's a little under 2,000 mana to start. It's pretty good. We're almost ready to upgrade this to 12, but I'm going to leave this where it is. And we're going to go to Field I3. Good old Tome Chamber location. Don't think there's anything else I need to do before we start. Let's just go in. This is not the Freeze Tome, of course. That's going to be in Hextile H, but it'll be something else that's useful. Oh, I don't want to do that. Hold on. Not yet. Let's take a look at these. Tome Chamber, we got to kill 146 Swarmlings. So killing any of these guys doesn't matter. So you'd think, let's not enrage these waves, because we'll just kind of flood the zone. But I'm going to enrage them anyway because I like to live on the edge. Let's just make sure the kill zone is in here, though. So no going through this pathway. So we're going to block it off there. And then this monster nest shouldn't come to the right. It should go to the left and around. So we're going to block that there. Everyone's going to come through this kill zone. Let's put a trap here and take this cyan gem. As this level's been so kind to give us the 3 gems over here that I forgot to mention till this moment. Suppress healing. Cyan goes well with poison because if you suppress the healing ahead of time, then enemies cannot recover the poison damage over time, so you do the maximum poison damage. These gems, who knows? That's the 3 gem types, cyan, orange, purple, and then of course we have access to poison, so we'll put our first trap on the outskirts here. I could put one here, you think, well, do it here, and then the poison damage starts ticking as they enter, but if I do enough poison damage and the enemy has low enough HP, they die almost instantly, so I wouldn't get credit for the kill. So I want the poison traps to all be in this zone. I'm going to put several of them. Oops, hold on. That's not where that goes. Don't do that. Put these, duplicate this, put it in. I was just going too quick and I was duplicating this one. That's alright, I have plenty of mana. And I think this is enough. 4 of them. The reason I'm putting them all right next to each other is I don't have a lot of space here, but this is risky because if I have clumps, the 4 traps here won't be the most efficient. Like, the most efficient way would be to spread these traps out, but we don't have a lot of space to work with, so I do have to do this. I'm going to combine these and put them into this tower here. And then let's enrage our waves. Let's start by enraging them all like that. And then hope nothing happens while we have no mana left. We also have a shrine that gives us mana, extracts mana from all hit enemies. That could be useful, especially since it goes right down this causeway that we created. All the enemies have to come through here. So this will hit a lot of them. And it'll hit enemies going this way. That's pretty good. Let's see what this does. This should kill them. I hope it does. I also am going to be upgrading these traps as soon as I can. Like, the question is going to be, what is more efficient? Upgrading the traps you have or building more traps? It depends on the space you're working with. If you have a lot of space to work with, it's usually better to just duplicate a trap you have. I'm going to duplicate a gem I have, because this is ridiculous. Duplicating a trap you have, when you upgrade a trap, it doesn't double the damage that trap does, but when you duplicate it does. Did I say that right? When you upgrade a trap, it increases the poison damage by like 80% or so, but when you duplicate, of course, you double the total poison damage. Let me just make sure. You know what? Let's get a lot of swarmlings in here. Let's get a lot of them in, which means I need more traps, and I need to upgrade these. So normally you want to duplicate the traps to increase the poison damage by the highest amount, but in a case like this where I need to do all my damage very quickly, upgrading the trap is better, because if I set a lot of traps up here, well, that's great that I do a ton of poison damage, but I don't want the enemies dying over here. I want them dying over here. So I want to be upgrading the traps. This one's going to go to level 4, just to start us off, which means any of these swarmlings, that's way, way more than they have in HP. It just means it'll kill them so quickly that the clumps will be reduced that way, rather than, because if the enemies aren't killed quickly, the same trap's going to hit one swarmling over and over rather than several of them. So that my hope is that it kills them so quickly, yeah, that it can hit multiple swarmlings. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's get rid of the beacons that we created. This beacon, however, has a lot of hit points and armor, so 1 gem bomb isn't going to do much to it. Alright, let's get another trap. I think these should start going up to higher levels. And also, these should go to higher levels. Let's get this up to level 5. How much damage do we do? I haven't been tracking like the damage in towers once we get to these higher levels. A dual gem here, about 160. It tops out, so the average here is going to be about 110. That's good. 110 is good enough to kill everybody. Let's upgrade this to level 4 at least. I can do these twice each. Let's get a lot of enraged waves, shall we? Let's get these to level 3. Goodbye, beacon. This probably can stay. Yeah, this can stay at level 2. Let's make sure these guys can't cut through. They got to take the long way around. Ah, good grief. There we go. Let's get these traps up to level 4 as well. Oh, we've already opened the tome chamber. Of course we have. We've just done so many swarmlings in one go that we've actually kind of overloaded ourselves. There we go. Yeah, there's so many of them. We're just struggling here. Let's upgrade you to 4. You to 4. Okay. That should be enough for a while, right? 141. Yeah, we're good. As long as one of these traps hits a guy, we're good. Yeah. You to level 4, you to level 4. I think those are all 4. What we should also do is upgrade this to level 6. Don't think we've done a level 6 gem yet. Or we might have at one of the levels before. I'm not necessarily going to limit myself on upgrading the gems. It's just that at this point, the cost of those higher level gems is going to be a little out of reach. So 6 is kind of where I want to stop just to save myself some mana, because it's going to cost about 5,000 mana to go to level 7. I don't want to spend 5,000 mana right now. But I do want this to go to level 5. Alright. Should probably start upgrading these to level 5. Yeah, cool, cool. Ooh, I should try to use this one, see what I get. Let's not use a level 1 gem, because it'll only extract... yeah, it doesn't do it. Extract 8 mana from hit enemies. Let's do it at a higher level. Ooh, this is going to be tough. 170 swarmlings. Oh, because I was bombing with this level 3 gem. Oh boy, here we go. I've given myself a challenge. Let's see if I can do it. I meant to bomb with this one, but when you do the shift bombing, it takes your highest socketed gem here, or the one that's topmost. So if I switched him, it would be the gem, the level 1 gem, but because they were in this order, I've just given myself 170 swarmlings that have a lot of armor. Let's upgrade you. If a few swarmlings get through, it's okay. I got... yeah, that's more like it. 61 swarmlings. I've got... I've got enough mana to tank a few. How much do these cost to banish? 30? Yeah, that's not much. If a few of them get through, a few of them get through. Let's go to level 5 here. 5 there. Because they're still killed by these traps. It's just there's a lot of them. Let's just get a little bit of mana from this. Yeah, that's not a lot of mana. Okay. We're going to want to use this one. And we're going to want to use it when we see a lot of these swarmlings here. Alright, let's get a whole batch of them. Right here. There we go. That'll at least thin out some of that crowd. I'm still going to get overwhelmed. This was such a bad idea. I just was not paying attention to what I was bombing with. Yep, here we go. It comes. So yeah, when you gem bomb Wavestone to Enrage, the power of the gem bomb dictates how much stronger the wave gets. So if you bomb with a level 1 gem like I've been doing, it's really manageable. But when you do a higher level gem, then you do what I just did, which is this. It's way, way too many enemies. Let's make sure that they don't cost too much to banish. Oh, actually, we're handling it all right. We're handling it fine so far. No, that actually wasn't too bad. Only a couple of them got through. How much are they? They're healing 90 per minute, so let's upgrade this to level 3. Cut all of the regen off. Oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. This is a problem. This is a problem. I've got a lot of mana to tank it, but I wasn't paying attention. That's actually not that bad. A few of them get through. There you go. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Let's start getting rid of this. I need to upgrade these probably. Oops, that's a grade 6 poison gem. That's definitely overkill. But it's alright. I also have a lot of mana right now, and a lot of XP. Yeah, we're good now. Look at that. Reach mana pool level 10. Awesome. Well, I'm certainly not getting up to 80,000 mana anytime soon. Okay. Well, in endurance mode, I'm going to combine these two. And then I'm going to start upgrading. And I can start at level 9. I doubt I'm going to get enough mana to go to level 10. But we're just going to run this and see what we get. It's going to start off nice and easy. These enemies are... But like by the time we get down to this wave, we might start to struggle. If I can get up to 50,000 XP, I think that'll be enough. Ooh, I can also do this if I get enough enemies on the screen. I didn't quite get enough mana back, because how much did it cost to make it? No, I got double my mana back on that. Let's see. This one I want to make sure. This will extract 179 mana from every enemy. Yeah, I got more mana than I spent. That's probably good. Not much more, though. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to make it to the next level. That's fine. As long as I get to 50,000? Can I get 50,000? Maybe. I'll get close, but I don't think I'm going to make it. I think I'm going to lose before I get to 50,000 XP. Okay. Alright. Finally a fragment that isn't a corner fragment. It's also pretty high rarity, but it is completely useless to me right now. Doesn't do anything I want. How many achievements? 80? That's good. Talisman. Yeah, slower kill chain counter. So the kill chain counter is at the top right. We haven't really talked about it much. So every time you kill an enemy, there's a counter, the countdown, and if you kill an enemy before that timer reaches the end, then the kill chain goes up, and getting high enough kill chains gets you bonuses, but I haven't really been caring about it too much. And then if I upgrade this, I get extra damage to swarmlings. I don't want either of those right now, so it's just sitting in my socket there. So we got our new skill, Bolt. I'm not going to put anything into the skill right now because the next level, I don't really need the skill. So I'm going to use my points elsewhere. I'm going to bump this up to 12, and then... Should I leave it there? No, I should put... I'm going to put another one into poison. That's where we're going to set 240 skill points. And we're going to go into field I4, where we'll talk about the bolt spell. I'll use it, but I'm not going to need it in this level. So here we go. How much? I've been going close to 40 minutes. I've been yapping pretty good, but we're moving faster than the last couple of videos. Alright, so the way that these spells work is you wait till the spell reaches a full charge, a plus sign will appear up here, and then we select the spell and click on the gem to enhance it. That's because this is a gem enhancement spell, which means that you put it on the gem. It doesn't fire in any other way. So it's going to take 65 seconds to charge. You see that towards the bottom there. It says max charge is 222. Normally it's 200% max charge, but I think we have a talisman piece that increases that. I don't remember. I'll have to check. But talisman pieces can increase your max charge. 200 is the baseline, which is good because after 65 seconds it'll have one charge, but if one was the max, then every second that I'm not using the spell, I'm wasting time that could be spent charging. So the most efficient use is to make sure that you don't ever reach maximum charge. And since it's at 222%, I can wait until I have... Well, actually, I can wait till I have 2 charges before I use anything, or I can use it somewhere between 1 and 2 charges. We'll see what that looks like as the thing charges. You see how it kind of fills up clockwise. So anyway, what does Bolt Spell do? Well, when we put it on a gem in a tower, it's going to let the tower fire some powerful shots, ignoring armor, stunning the target, does an extra 120% damage, so 220% damage, ignoring armor, so really, really high, and an additional 50% to range, so it fires farther away, but you only get 12 of the shots before the spell runs out, in which case you have to reapply the spell. So that's how that works. But if we were to put the spell on a gem in a trap, which we can do, it doesn't give it the power to fire bolts. What it does is it makes sure that the trap ignores armor. Now, already the special ability ignores armor, so like poison damage, but the regular damage done from the trap ignores armor, which allows us to do something we haven't been able to do, which I'll demonstrate in this level, even though we're still too early in the game to make it all that useful. Also pretty close to starting at level 4 here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build some traps. We want to make sure we have these ready to go so that our enemies, you know, don't make it too far. So I'm going to make 4 traps. I think I have enough to do that. This should be enough to basically clear everyone out here. Then I'm going to make a critical hit gem. And I'm going to make it at level 1 purely for demonstration purposes so we can look at some numbers. Also, so we have these 2 entrances, but they don't meet up till the middle, which really sucks because we can't really bunch everything up at this end. We have to kind of take care of enemies on 2 paths at once. So what I'm going to do is this, make enemies go around here, around like so. Everyone's got to go all the way around here and face this gem. And then I'm going to build a trap here and put a yellow gem in it. I'm just going to do it on both sides. And I know that we've been told never to put yellow gems in traps, or at least I told you that at first. That is because the whole point of the yellow gem is to do extra damage. But if the damage level is so low, and of course you have enemy armor to deal with, this is worthless. But now that we have this special ability, if I put the bolt spell on the trap, then this trap will ignore armor when it does damage. And also, by the way, spells and traps never deplete. It says right there, enhancements don't deplete in traps. Once you put it on, it's on there forever. It also says enhanced gems get socketed instantly. So like, if when I put this in here, it takes time before the gem is ready. If I put a bolt spell on this gem, it's ready to go immediately, which means I can upgrade a gem, put a bolt spell on it immediately, so there's no downtime on the gem. Another little fancy trick we can do. But what does this mean? Let's assume this ignores armor. This one doesn't. The average damage here, of course, being 15. The average damage here being 3. Well, 15 minus armor, they have 18 armor. This is going to do no damage. But this right here is going to do damage. It's going to do 3 damage. Of course, we'll upgrade these gems. We'll see how it goes. These will actually become useful in some way. But let's look at the critical hit value. So let's suppose I get a critical hit and I did the maximum damage of 22. We're going to do 1.35 times that damage. It's about at a third being added, about 7, so it's going to do about 29 damage. Minus armor, of course. So 29 minus 18, this is going to do 11 damage. Best shot I got. This right here, best shot we got is 4 damage times 1.84. It's a much higher number because of my trap skill. So it's going to be 7 damage, though. It's pretty low. 11 damage, 7 damage. So instead of being only 20% the damage of the gem in the tower, that's what it should be if it's minus 80% to damage, it's almost 100%, or it's more like 75% of the damage. Now, if this gem gets strong enough that, you know, it's doing a lot of damage and the armor stays low, whatever. But if the enemy armor keeps getting higher, which it will, eventually the gem in the trap will actually do more damage because the critical hit value is going to increase in the trap faster than it will in the tower. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is, at a certain point, critical hit gems and traps become viable strategy. Like, you don't have to worry about them in the tower so much. They can work in here. It's not going to happen in this level because this level is very short. We have 19 waves. There would be 12 if I didn't have my haste thing all the way at the top. So this level is going to be over way too quickly, and then the endurance mode is going to start before we're anywhere near ready for it. So we're not going to get a lot of XP in this level. Whatever. Let's just run it. Let's just get some mana in the pool, and then let's upgrade our gems here. So we can see again. So now 37 is the max damage, and the critical hit can do about 1.5 times that. So we add about, what, 18 to that, 19 to that. So in the mid-50s on the damage is what we expect. And then we have to, hold on, let's get these enraged waves here. Let's do it again. So what, 23 armor? So we're going to do about 30 damage there. That's pretty good. This here, 7's the max, but we're going to double it. More than double. We'll go up to 15. Yeah, that's still a lot weaker than the gem. Let's upgrade him again. So 12 damage max, but we do 2.5 times, so 30 is where we top out here. This tops out over 100 when we do a critical hit at max damage. But again, we have to contend with armor, which is going to get higher. So once the armor gets high enough, this gem isn't going to do a lot of damage. This gem is. And let's put the special ability in it. So now this will actually kill some of these enemies coming through, I think. There's a chance. 15% chance. That's pretty terrible. We're still at far too low a level for this to mean anything. Let's get another poison gem out. Let's upgrade the poison gems. Make sure we're staying on top of things. I'm not just talking about this potential strategy. Yeah, we're fine. Okay, let's bring these up to level 4. We can see. Yeah, 1.92 times the damage, so about double the damage, so close to 200, minus enemy armor. This one's more like close to 60 without subtracting enemy armor. This is still stronger, but of course, that's because these enemies don't have as much armor yet, because this level's too easy. But at some point, the enemy armor will be so high that gems and towers really aren't going to be all that useful. Hold on, let's get rid of that beacon. Is there another one I made? No. We're doing alright. Let's upgrade this to 3, maybe. Actually, all of these should go to level 3. There, and then this should go to level 4. Just in case, because we're enraging a lot of waves here, so I want to make sure these poison traps are strong. Let's put... Does this do anything? I mean, ignoring armor is not going to help. It's going to make the damage from the trap a little higher, but the poison damage isn't going to do anything different. Let's upgrade these to level 5. I think at this point it starts to become more viable. Now, a perfect shot, highest possible damage out of here is more like 350, which is pretty high. But you got to subtract... Oh, it's only subtracting about 50 for armor, so it's pretty good. Yeah. Whereas this, 120... 120 is still pretty good, because look how much HP they have. A max damage out of this this Gem of the Trap is going to one-hit kill everyone that walks over it. So yeah, this isn't a bad thing to do. I mean, it's not as strong as a Gem in a Trap or a Gem in a Tower at the moment, but if we up this, you know, to level 10 somehow or whatever, and we were far enough into the game that the enemy armor was a little higher, then yeah, this would be more useful. But let's put this on the tower. You can see what happens. You see it fires a little bolt here. Firing speed on the bolt's pretty slow, but it can fire bullets as well as bolts. So I've actually increased the fire rate of this gem by a little bit by doing this, so long as the bolt spell remains active. Man, this level is just whatever. Honestly, the reason I've gone so much into this little trap strategy is because otherwise this level is really boring. 11,000 XP. I bet I won't even get to 20,000. Because endurance mode, everything goes up so quickly that, like, if the level was 40 waves, I'd make it to wave 40 without a problem. But I'm not going to make it to wave 40 with endurance mode just because of how quickly they're going to get too strong for me. But I do want to... I don't want these in the traps anymore. So I'm actually going to take this. I'm going to combine it with this one. So it's level 6. 5 times the damage is cool. Upgrade this one. Combine. And then upgrade to level 8. That's the only way I could have done that with how little mana I had. And then let's hope I get a little further, but we'll see. Let's see if I even get to 20,000. I'm probably not even going to get this to level 9. It's not going to happen. What's this guy doing? Oh, there must have been a drop holder I just didn't even notice when I started this level. I don't need this. Goodbye. I might get to the point I can upgrade this, but it's not going to be easy. There we go. But I can upgrade at any time now. I don't have to worry about the timing like I did in previous levels, because when I add the bolt spell, it automatically sockets the gem. So as long as I have a bolt spell ready to go, I can upgrade any gem at any time without worrying about the socket time and enemies walking by while that happens. So actually, I'm doing a lot better than I thought I would because of that. I thought I'd die before I made it to level 9 on this gem. So now 30,000 is the realistic goal. I don't know how much higher than that we'll get. I don't know if we'll get to 40. I mean, 36% chance to deal critical hit is pretty good. And 5 times the damage is pretty good, but it's still not enough to take care of these guys. Alright. 32,000 XP is fine for this level. We got more corner fragment, yeah, I don't need corner fragments. I need the other ones. What on earth is happening with the talisman? That is so bizarre. There we go. Achievements 85, that's fine. Talisman pieces. So let's look at what we got. We got only room for one more. So this one here, damage to swarmlings. Let's get rid of that one. It's pathetic. So now Let's put this here. So I like putting mine in order clockwise around. Look at the level. Now this is a higher level, but it's by fragment type because you can only put certain pieces in certain spots. So this is going around this way. There's no reason to do that except for my own like mental like sorting things. So I know looking at this talisman that this is my lowest level corner fragment. You can sort of tell from the colors, from the tiers, but if they're all the same tier, then it's hard to tell. But I can't tell what they each do. Like this is the lowest. This one's a lower level than this, but this is more useful to me. The initial mana is more useful to me than a slight damage increase to Reavers. It's only later in the game where this will be noticeable. Yeah, 22% maximum bolt charge. That's why it's 222%. So what am I getting total? Yeah. The damage to Reavers and the slower killed shake encounter cooldown, I don't need either of those, but the other three things are pretty good. Let's see skills-wise. Now let's put some skills into Bolt. So when we do that, we decrease the recharge time. Unfortunately, it takes quite a few skill points into the Bolt spell before you really start to notice what it does. Because I'm going to bring this to level 1, right? So 1.5%, that's like 1 second. So instead of 65 seconds, it's 64. That's probably not going to make or break a level. And in order to get essentially a free Bolt spell like on there, I would need to spend enough time to cast 64 or 65 bolt charges. So I need to spend more than an hour in a level before I would notice this. But if I bring this up there, 3%, still not great. Up here at 4.5% decrease, still not super noticeable. It's about 62 seconds to recharge, but 1 extra bolt per spell means it's 13 shots instead of 12. Yeah, that's still not going to be 1 extra shot. I'm not going to notice that too much, but if I upgrade this enough times, I get enough shots. I could essentially double the amount of shots I get per spell. I could make it recharge every 40 seconds instead of 60. Like, that's much, much better, but it takes a while to get there. Do I want to spend any more? Yeah, I'm going to spend 1 more in masonry. Going to go to 64% decrease. Wait, how much I got? 77. I still think that's not quite enough to start level 4. I think if I do this, I start at level 4, right? Look at my chart. 2260 is the amount of mana I would need to start with to start at level 4. And I would, because I add 360, I add 42, so I add 402 to this. Nope, it's not enough. It's just barely. So yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do that. All right. Let's go to I5. Wizard Tower location. So this will unlock more levels for us as well as some battle traits. I can avoid firing things I don't want by adjusting the gem's range with the mouse wheel. We haven't had a reason to do that so much. Yeah, true, opening tome chambers might depend on that, but we, again, have not had to do that. Let's see. Here's the wizard towers, or the locks we need to break to destroy the lock on the wizard tower. So we're going to need to put some gems up here. And I'm not going to have them do double duty. I'm not going to funnel enemies up here. I'm just going to have some gems for the purpose of destroying those locks. We also have our amplifier here, which is baiting me into putting all of my firepower in this spot, which means if an enemy gets through here, that's it. So I think what I'm going to do, actually, let's make our gems common, or mix of red and green. It's good in towers because it does more damage, but it's also good in traps because chain hit poison is a really good combo. I don't care about this so much right now. I'm going to put this in the amplifier and then put a trap. So we're going to amplify the trap. It's going to be more than 17 poison damage. The chain hit will also go up, so this will actually be pretty useful for us. Let's put some towers here. I'm going to do 2. Yeah, doing 2 so that there's definitely room to hit all of them. But also, we'll destroy the locks faster. That's all. Just in case I want something over here. Let's put some walls to make a maze for these enemies to walk through. So let's do this. I want them to go buy both of these gems. They give us this one to start with. Very nice of them. Like so. And then I want to make sure that they have to go through here. So they have to go around like this. And then over here, I want to make sure the enemies walk through... They want to walk through this way. So here and there. And there. And that's the maze. There we go. Let's enrage a few waves. Let's do that. That's a lot. I don't know if this is a good idea. Let's build another trap here, and then we're going to duplicate this as soon as I have 204 mana. There we go. Yeah, we just need a lot of traps here, so we're going to have a few enemies getting by until such time as these are ready to go. Yeah, they'll die here, though. They're still weak enough that I can kill them with these. There. Let's build another trap and another gem. I'm going to be able to fit 5 traps around this amplifier because it reaches all 8 directions. There and there. Okay, good. That died. Let's bring this to level 3. And then I also want these to be at level 3 when I get a chance. Ignore armor. It's not doing much to ignore armor here, but that little bit of extra damage could help because of the chain hit. Let's get these going. Let's upgrade both of these. Let's start upgrading the stuff in the traps. And Raging Waves just to tempt fate. I think we'll be fine. Like, I still got a lot of enemies getting through, but not too bad yet. This should be a level 4 then, just in case. Ignore armor there. Let's upgrade these traps. This gem is not going to reach that tower. We'll do here. As soon as this tower is down, I'm going to combine the gems. Make it 1 grade 4. There we are. This will go down pretty quick. And then maybe start upgrading these to level 4. Let's get ignoring armor. Upgrade these 2 to level 4. How are we doing there? I'm doing alright. You to level 4. And you. Alright. And we're pretty set. Let's see if this guy can... Let's attack the apparition. Kill him. Mana shard. Does this adds mana to the shard? Not a lot. Oh hey, new enemy type. So there's 3 types of enemies. We mentioned Reavers. Swarmlings is the second. Giants are the third. We've seen them in endless mode, but I haven't talked about it because I didn't care. Giants, when you see a wave of them, there's usually very little of them, but they have super high hit points, as you see, and super high armor. I'm going to enrage this wave, because the amount of hit points and armor added was negligible, but it did add another giant, which is more XP for me. Now all these traps ignore armor. I think, yeah, 60-something poison damage. As these guys go through, yeah, we're good. So now this is going to combine over here, make a grade 6 gem. I don't think I need this guy. So I'm going to duplicate the 6, and then we're good. You know what? Let's actually put a blue or cyan gem in here to suppress healing. Haven't done that yet. Probably should. Marked Reavers. They get extra regeneration. Too bad. This will help take care of that regeneration. I think all these have Bolt Spell on them now. Now they all do. Ignore armor. This isn't going to do any damage. Alright, let's see if I didn't just give myself way too much of a problem with those marked enemies. Let's give a Bolt Spell up here. Kill a monster having a lot of armor. Alright, cool. Yeah, giants are just, they're a pain. But we took care of them. They weren't that much of a pain. That was like, oops, I accidentally banged my knuckle on the wall or something pain. That was pretty minor. Another corner fragment. This game is mocking me. What the heck is this all about? A new trait. All right, let's go to endurance mode. So if you've noticed, because I know you're paying super attention to this, you're not just having this in the background at like 150% speed while you do something else. But these poison traps, once you get to endurance mode, don't do a lot because the enemies, they just get so strong so fast that I can't catch up with poison. It just falls off. So I don't want these anymore. I don't think I want any of these. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start combining these grade 4 gems. So I got some 5s. I have a 6er here. Let's make another 6er. So let's do this. It makes a 7. These make a 7. And then these make an 8. And I still have 25,000 mana, so I can start this at level 9. Because these traps, sure, in these first couple waves to take care of them, but I don't need to worry about it. I got a level 9 gem over here. But by the time we get to wave, I don't know, 35, the traps won't do much. I'm going to keep this guy. In fact, I'm going to put him at level 5. Suppress 2,000 healing per minute. Might as well. And let's run with this. I don't know if I'll get up to level 10, but we could see if I do. And then put some bolt spell on you. There you go. Just want to make sure I'm using this as efficiently as possible. Even though I don't really need to use it yet. There's really no reason not to. Alright, see if we can get up to 50,000 XP. That might be too high, but let's see if we can do it. I don't know, we're doing pretty good so far. I think we have a chance of hitting that. Alright. Yeah, I think we can hit 50. Oh, I can upgrade this guy. There we go, level 10. First time we've seen one of these. It does an average of over 1,200 damage. Alright. And let's give it a bolt spell. Oh, we're doing great here. This is good. We're probably not going to get to level 11, though. Just going to say that. We would need to get 80,000 mana. That's not going to happen. Oh, I guess I just killed the apparition there that showed up out the side. Ooh, these giants are going to really take a lot of hits to get rid of. That's going to be a problem. Alright, we're starting to lose now. It's going to overwhelm us pretty soon. We got 80,000 XP. That's pretty good. Almost 90. That's not bad at all. Yeah, we quadrupled our XP on that one. Okay, an inner fragment, finally. It's a worthless one, but we did get an inner fragment. Jeez. I'm not having luck with the talismans in this run. That's alright. It's, especially early game, your talisman is not that important. It's good for some achievements, maybe some extra mana here and there, but that's about it. 86 achievements, nice. Talisman. So this guy is useful. 19 initial mana. This one gives me damage to Reavers, who cares? Let's set them up so I know the order they're in. And then this one, I'm going to just go there. It's worthless, but there you go. So now an extra 60 mana. This might be enough to put me over the top here, right? 296 skill points. I definitely have enough to start at mana level 4. Let's bump up Bolt to level 6. Give myself 2 extra bolts. And 9% decrease in Bolt spell recharge time, so it's under a minute to recharge now. There. Level 9. Just, I can build more traps. Okay, Field I-6. So we have a new battle trait. This one's Mana Lock. This one's a little more difficult. Like Haste, the only difficulty was we add 7 more waves. This one, gathered mana is given only every 10 seconds. So what's going to work is that with this skill on, every time I'm getting mana, so that's mana over time. How much do I get over time at level 73? 404 per minute. And then at mana level 4, it's going to be even higher than that. That mana from killing enemies, all that, it's going to go into like a special little purse that I don't have access to. But every 10 seconds, the contents of that purse are given to me. What this means is I have to change my strategy somewhat. If I spend every last bit of mana I have, in the 10 seconds before I get new mana, if any enemies get to the orb, that's it. It's over. So I can't willy-nilly spend mana. I need to be holding on to some. I also need to be careful not to do things, you know, spend a ton or have a low amount of mana when I know I have a lot of time before I get some.
At level 1, this isn't too bad. 10 seconds is pretty easy to wait, especially at high speed. But if I brought this up to level 7, 100 seconds. I have to wait a minute 40. Also, keep in mind, when I start a level, I have to wait to gain this mana. So I usually spend a lot of mana to start a level. So when I start a level, I have to go 10 seconds before I can do anything. If I start this at level 7, whatever mana I start with, I have a minute 40 to survive with my initial loadout. This is really difficult. I don't know if I'm ready for this. I'm just going to set it to level 1. It's a little bit more XP. It just helps. It brings the drop rarities of the... oh, it actually doesn't. It's the same rarity. If I bring this up all the way, that brings the rarity up, but not by much. It just slightly increases my chance of getting talisman pieces. It's probably worth it. Yeah, so you see it here with the +0. So this is the little purse that the mana goes into, and after 10 seconds, whatever's in here goes into the top number. This level sucks. So we got 3 entrances. These 2 meet up right here. And then they don't meet up until the orb. So I've got to spend double what I normally would just to get the same result. That's really annoying. I get mana leeching and poison gems. Let's talk about what happens when you put a mana leeching gem in a trap. So normally the extra mana leech you get from a trap is a bonus. You're using, or not in the trap, in a tower, it's a bonus. You're using the gem to kill enemies. So getting extra mana from the enemy is nice, but it's not the reason you make it. But if we put this in a trap, the only thing it is doing is taking mana from enemies. It's not going to be strong enough to kill them, even with the bolt spell on it. It just isn't going to be. At least not until it's like level 20, at which point, like, we don't need this. So the whole point of one of these in a trap is to extract mana, which means we have to be careful that the cost of that gem is less than the amount that we're going to get from the overtime. So, for instance, let me just make a level 1 gem here. This would normally leech 0.39 mana. We're going to add 130% to that, I think, in here. So it's going to leech 0.94 mana per hit, a little less than 1. It cost me 49 mana to make, so I want to make sure that I get at least 50 hits in to get my mana back, or something like that. After which, all the mana I collect is profit. Now, if I upgrade this gem, it's going to cost another 155, so it's going to be 204. I would need to get enough hits with this trap to make 204 mana back, and then see how much profit I would get. So it's going to take more hits to reach the point at which I break even, but after that, the profit's a little bit higher. So we have to judge how long the level is, because if it's a short level, high gems here are actually a waste, because it takes so long to reach the break-even point that you don't actually make any profit. But in a long level, if you do a low-level gem, sure, you reach your break-even point early, but the profit you get is really low. So you want to balance that. Of course, we don't have a skill to increase the amount of mana we leech in a trap yet. Like, we have the poison skill, we don't have the mana leech skill yet. That would make this even better. I think I'm going to leave this at level 2. 1.29 mana. So it cost me 204 to do this. So I want to hit about 200 times to break even. It's actually less than that. It's actually more like 175. At which point we'll see how much mana we make, and at the end of the level we can check our stats to see the total amount of mana, the total profit we got from this after 38 waves. But of course it's only going to hit half of the enemies because the other half are going to come in from the lower right. Whatever. Let's drop poison gems into the rest of these. But to make this even, I need another trap of poison. And then let's enrage this. Actually, I'm going to want these to be at level 2 if I do that. There we go. Well, that's as far as that goes. So now I have 10 seconds where I'm not going to gain any mana. I mean, the enemies won't even make it to the orb in 10 seconds. We'll be fine. They also only have 31 hit points. These do 44 poison damage. We're fine. But it's just something to keep in mind. Like, if I had this at the max level and I needed to wait 100 seconds, I might be in trouble. I might not survive a minute 40 with this loadout. We're good here, though. Let's do that. We've hit 4 times. That's pretty terrible. When it hits 10, it's better. Yeah, so we've got a pretty good amount. I see this is the mana climbing up. We don't have this mana yet. We don't get it. We don't get it. We're almost there. We're almost there. We're almost. And boom. Another 500 plus mana. Let's see. What's the most important thing to do first? Probably to add an additional poison trap on either path. Let's enrage. Let's start enraging waves. Get some extra XP going. Goodbye. and make sure just in case they get through, because I'm trying to do this with no backup gems, no towers, baby. Let's go to grade 3 on a few of these. Yeah, enemies still don't have enough HP to really worry about it, but the grade 2 gems aren't going to quite kill them in one hit, so we do want to make sure we have that going. Oops, that went to 4. This should go to 4 as well. I meant to make sure there were no grade 2 gems left, but that's okay. That should be 3. That should be 3. Okay, so we have all 3s except for these I accidentally made 4s. That's okay. I will eventually have all of them at level 4. There we go. Yeah. So the reason to enrage, of course, we've gone over, but like you might be thinking, I'm making this level harder for myself. What am I doing? But the additional enemies is additional XP and mana, so it pays for itself. If I get extra mana and XP, well, actually, if I get extra mana, I have more mana to make stronger gems, so on and so forth. The level becomes easier. That's the idea. Okay, let's get them all to level 4 over time here. Let's not have this beacon in. Let's see if I upgrade this another... No, I'm not going to upgrade it anymore. No, wait, am I? Let's upgrade it 10 times. Oh, yeah. That's crazy. 91 Swarmlings. Okay. Any grade 3 gems. Let's upgrade you. I think they're all... Nope, this one needs to go to 4. Grade 4. Yeah, 146 poison damage. We're doing fine. We're doing fine. This is crazy, though. Like, my traps are so strong. It's so silly. Haha, 320 armor. But traps... I don't need to worry about armor in the trap. It's all poison damage, baby. We've got enough hits now. We've made our money back from this, so it's all profit. Alright, level 7 mana pool. Let's start upgrading to level 5. Alright. Haha. Let's get this to level 5, this to level 5. Alright, any others? These go to level 5. You can go to level 5, you can go to level 5. Find 2 talisman fragments. Awesome. I bet they're both corner fragments. 179. Yeah, we're fine there. This is crazy. But again, the poison trap strategy is just so overpowered, at least in the early game. And by the time we get to the next Hextile, it's not going to be quite so overpowered. But right now, it's just the instant win button. So, I'm going to use it. Sure. Let's start upgrading these to level 6. Another set to level 6 here. And here, level 6. And there. And there. And then there and there. Let's get rid of some of these beacons. Cool, I think they're all at level 6 now. That's pretty high. I've got 8 gems as well. I'm eventually going to want a tower, but not right now. That's going to be for endless mode. Alright, this is risky. 138. They all do so much poison damage. I'm fine. Destroy 15 beacons? Oh yeah. 1 initial shield. These guys. Shield means the first hit does nothing, it just takes the shield off. So it's good to have multiple traps, otherwise they would inevitably walk right past them. Let's start upgrading to 7. you go to 7, and you go to 7. Oh, cool. This shrine's in a horrible place. Alright. Thank you, game, for giving me a shrine that's in a horrible place. Let's go to 7 and 7. Alright. They're both corner fragments and they're both worthless. Are you kidding me with that? Okay, fine. So what I'm going to do is build a level 7 mana gem here. And we're going to start combining gems. Hold on, let me pause the game real quick. Let me combine all these gems out here. So we make sure we get our strongest possible gem. Alright, so these go together, these go together. No, these go together, these go together, these go together. That's a level 10 gem. Combining this is just going to make it more expensive. It's not going to actually do anything. So I think that's that. Alright, let's see if I can get up. I don't know how much higher I'm going to get. 70,000 maybe? 80,000 XP? Let's see. Yeah, it's a little weaker than if I had a dual gem, but I realized I screwed up with how I spent my mana. Yeah, this level is not really designed for me to survive long in endurance mode because there's 2 paths the enemies can come down, but I'm doing alright so far. Maybe I get to the next level? I don't know. I don't think I'm going to make it to the next level. Yeah, no. I think I'm going to run out pretty soon here. Yep, not going to make it much further. Yeah. That dinging sound is annoying. Hey, but I hit 104,000 XP. That's great. Yeah. This is the end. Cool. Alright, let's see how much mana we gathered. From the trap, we got 1,200 mana, so we made back 10 times what we spent, which is pretty good. If we had a higher level gem, we probably would have made even more, but I don't know if it would have been worth it. Let's go back to the map and get rid of our talisman fragments because they're worthless. They don't do anything I want. These here, two. Come on, man. Actually, do I want to upgrade any of these? So I've already upgraded this one, and this one isn't, which is the one this one's upgraded, but I can upgrade this guy for an additional 52 mana. So I start with 94 additional mana. That's good. How are we doing on skills? Let's see if I can stay above 300 now. Let's up this. You know what? Let's leave it here. Let's leave it there. A little bit better on our poison. You know what? No. Level 9 on poison because it's 15% higher gem component power for grade 7 or higher. Alright. This should be the last level? This is the last level in this area. Let's just do this. This video is long, but suck it. Let's keep this at level 1. I kind of like where that has us sit. 10 seconds is not too bad to wait, and I don't feel I'm ready to go any further than that. Let's block this path. That's an obvious. Anything else? This is all red herring. I don't care about this. Let's get enemies through here. So I'm going to build a mana trap here because I have access to it. And let's do level 3. So this is going to cost me 514, right? We're going to gain 1.78 mana per hit. So 100 hits, 178 mana. 200 hits, about 350 mana. 300 hits is how much it'll take to get to break-even point, which is quite a lot. But if we get as many hits as we did in the previous level, we'll gain so much more mana. So let's try that. And then the rest of this is all going to be poison. Let's actually make sure we have our backup gem here because I have a feeling we're going to need it a lot. Alright, as many poison gems as I can in here for now. And let's also enrage some waves. There. that is that. Alright. So enemies do 37 HP. These do 47 poison damage. Let's get another... Oops, I gotta duplicate this once I get more mana. Gonna have to wait for it. There we go, just enraging waves to give myself a lot of mana and XP. I want another. There we go. 3, 4, 5, 6 traps. I want 2 more traps. I also want this to be at a higher level. There we go. 2 more. Let's put 1 here. This is really risky because if enemies break through, I don't have a lot of mana on hand. And then 1 more there. Alright. Let's start upgrading these traps. So this one should be 3 and this one should be 3. And let's put ignoring armor in there. Go to 3. How much is it? 3. 86 poison damage? Yeah. We're still keeping up, basically. This one, this one, this one, and that one. They're all level 3. This should be the level 5. You see how the pattern goes now, right? It's pretty simple. We have our idea. Let's actually get rid of this monster nest. Doesn't need to be a lot we spend on it. And I'm going to ignore that apparition. And let's start bringing these up to level 4. And upgrade these. There we go. There we go. That's gonna come back to haunt me. Let's make sure this is ready. Let's start there and there. Let's get some grade 4 gems here. What's this? Gives XP after all hit enemies. That could be useful. It's in an okay spot too. Alright. How many waves we got? 41? We're already there? That's a pretty good amount of XP. There we go. No beacons, please. Thank you. Let's start going to level 5. Level 5 is 280 poison damage. Yeah, that'll kill these guys. Let's see what happens if I... 47 XP? Okay. I don't know if that's before or after the 3.4 multiplier. This should go... I'm going to bring this to level 7. Let's do it. Yeah. So far, it has 5 hits. That number is going to go up. That can go goodbye. And let me get rid of this tower as well, because that'll give me a nice achievement, I believe. Yep. Alright, these can start going to level 6. Little by little. This can go to level 6. And let's get these to level 6. There we go. Let's get some guys in here. Ooh, that wasn't much XP. That wasn't good. Let's see. 6 for you. Oops, hold on. Is this smart? Is this smart? It's 500 HP. What am I doing? Oh, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Let's upgrade this and that. I think they're all at grade 6 now. Yeah, I don't gotta worry about nothing. I'm crazy, living on the edge here. That didn't do a whole lot. But I think I can get a lot of XP out of this next bit. Once I get these guys in here. Oops. Get some good old... Oh, still only 50. Okay, that's not that great. This is overrated. What am I doing? Gives XP again. Another one. Why would I use that when I have this? Ooh, those are some enemies right there. This is gonna miss so many enemies, though. It's not gonna hit like any of them. Right? Yeah. Well, this is fun. What am I doing? Trying to get myself killed is what I'm doing here. There we go. I'm gonna upgrade this level 8. There we go. That's not too bad. I was worried about nothing. Goodbye. Look at that, 82,000. Now, I'm willing to bet I'm not going to get a lot more XP in Endurance mode, but I will give it a try. Let's see. We're going to do some combinations. Let's get these guys out of here. So I've got 8 of these gems, I believe. So, of course, combining, and combining. So I need a level 9 gem here. We can combine, and we're going to start with a 3-color level 10 gem. So I don't care about the specials, but now plus 20% damage. Still not higher, but the specials power goes way down. We don't get an achievement for that because we didn't do it during regulation. But this should help me get through quite a bit. So 100,000? Can I get that? I bet I can get 100,000. This has got 600 hits on it, so that's pretty good. Oh, that was a miss. That's a bad idea. I don't think I'm going to get up to the required mana before I can upgrade this again. That's not going to happen. Yeah, we're going to start losing here. There's just too many giants. There's so many of them. They're just not killable. Not even getting to 100,000. Jeez. There's so many giant waves. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Alright. Close enough. Close enough. Man, that one gets really hard. Level 83. I like that. 96 achievements. Stupid talisman. Doesn't do anything. How about our skills? 335? Where would I put skills in here? I think I might put them into bolt. Let's just do that. Stay above 300. Extra shots per spell. Of course, the recharge time should now be about, I don't know, an extra... It should be more like 55 seconds or so. Something like that. Might not be that low. But that's pretty good. Like, we'll definitely make up for this amount within each level very easily. I'm going to leave it there. I might pull skill points off of this when we get our next skill. Depends on how much I want to hold on to here. But that's a good place to end. Whew, that was a fun time. Next time, we have a couple options. We have Field H and we have Field M. So the thing about Field M is that we have to get the free skill before we can open the tome chamber this level. We can still play this level and beat it. We would just have to go back a second time. I don't want to do that. I want the free skill, and it's from Field H4, so there's really no reason not to just go to Field H right now. It's also, yeah, it's also an easier field, slightly. So yeah, next time we're going to head up here, get the free skill. Thanks for watching, everybody. I've been Key of W. You've been whoever you are, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.